Yo, what is going on, guys? We're back today for another video. So we're gonna be talking all about Battlegrounds. So I was grinding pretty hard yesterday, having some fun, and it got to 200 points. I was just like, I'm gonna hit the Gladiator circuit. Then I hit the circuit, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get 200 points. I'm gonna get that radiance. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get to 200 points. I'm gonna get all the radiance. So that's what I did yesterday in my free time. I should have streamed it, but I was just chilling in bed. Honestly, I was thinking like, I gotta figure out how to stream from my bed. That would be I would stream way more if I could do that. But anyways, we're gonna be talking all about Battlegrounds today. Right now, we are still in the first 2 weeks of the season, so this is the current meta that we have. The meta just changes a little bit. You get this second win unblockable once you get to the circuit. We'll talk about the Gladiator circuit nodes for week 3 and 4 for season 29. But what we're also going to be talking about is season 30 and 31. So not only this season's nodes, the next season, and the season after. I really like when Kabam does this because it allows me, like if I'm going to do a rank 4, for example, I can look ahead in multiple metas, be like, all right, is this rank 4 going to be worth it for this meta, for the next meta, for the next meta? Like, now I can know. So I really appreciate Kabam doing this. So we're already on season 29. These are the nodes we have right now. Like I said, once you get to the circuit, you get that second one unblockable. And then so for weeks 3 and 4, it's an invade meta, which is a little bit reminiscent of the Battleground Brawl meta that we had at the time. It was invade, which I didn't love because I couldn't use a lot of champs that I like. For example, Spot. My main man, Spot. He is terrible for it. His whole strategy is blocking. Like, he's the worst offensive champ for invade. So that's honestly the biggest reason why I don't like invade, just because it just neuters my boy Spot. So that sucks. But of course, that's gonna mean Corvus Glaive, dude. Corvus Glaive is the king of invade. He's so crazy for it. So expect a Corvus to be in pretty much everyone's deck. 6-star Hulkling and Valkyrie probably going to be really great in this meta. That's going to be interesting. Then we have Kinetic Absorption. So attackers striking the defender's block with the basic attack gains 4% of their max power. Again, Valkyrie and Hulkling already get this in their base kit, so they're going to be getting more power from hitting in the block. And then there's also Energize, so the defender's combat power is increased by 50%. So honestly, this looks kind of like a fun chill meta. I don't mind the one where we have right now in game, but because, Spot is really good for it. Spot is a god for this meta. But I think this one will be fun. It'll be a fun little throwback to the Brawl meta. And yeah, it'll be fun to use Corvus. Alright, let's talk about next season. So, season 30. So, we get Torch's Ferocity. So what that does is Sokka attackers gain temperature via heavy attacks. At 100 temperature, gain a flame on passive. Basic attacks deal 50% of attack as direct damage, and then temperature drops by 5 per second while active. So that's really weird. Cool. I doubt the temperature is going to allow you to counter miss, like how Torches does, but that's cool. And so we have Reluctant Retaliation. So when the attacker activates a special, gain 30% cowardice passive for 15 seconds, max 2 stacks. So they're just trying to neuter our special attack damage, I guess. And then Arc Overload at the start and every 20 seconds, the fairy gains a 25% armor up and regeneration for 6 seconds. All right, and then once you get to the circuit, basically all that changes. Oh yeah, this meta. I'm not looking forward to this. We have the return of Electric Defense. So this was the meta back when Gallon and Hulkling were in their freaking prime. This was prime Gallon and Hulkling. Each hit on the defender while armor up is active power burns the attacker for 10% of a bar. Damage scales with the number of armor ups and defender's base health. So it's going to be all about champions, that can be immune to power burn for that. Gallon and Hulkling are 2 great examples. There's more, quite a few more now in game. Let me see if any of them are coming to mind. I don't know if either of the Phoenixes have immunity to power. I think Dark Phoenix is power drain. Yeah, power drain. So not power burn. But, she does have the pulverize mechanic, so if she uses a heavy attack, she can just take away, I think it's 2 armors at a time. But against, like, a Red Skull, that's still going to be hurting. A regular Phoenix, I don't think she has... Does she have power burn immunity? She does. Okay. Yeah, like I said in one of my last war videos about Phoenix, I was planning on already taking her up, and I think this was one of the metas that caught my eye for her because she is immune to that power burn. So that is gonna be nice. OG Phoenix is gonna be cooking in that meta. Venom is another one. He's power burn immunity against tech champions specifically. So, there's going to be a lot of tech champs placed with armor. Like Red Skull is going to be, I think, a prime example. So, Venom might not be doing too bad. Who else has power burn me? Of course, Gallon. He's going to be coming out of the Titan soon before this meta. So, there will be more 7-star Gallons around. Does King Groot have anything? I don't play King Groot. He does! He does. He's immune to power burn too. Dude, trying to break out the Deathless King Groots. Interesting. And yeah, I don't think Thanos has it. Pretty sure he doesn't. No. But yeah, so that's the electric defense power burn meta. I'm not looking too forward to this one. But the good thing for me is that it's the first 2 weeks. So it's not really that big of a deal. The weeks 3 to 4 metas are what I usually care about more because that's when I'm more inclined to push towards the end. So for the next season, weeks 3 and 4 meta, we have Obstinate Charge. Defender's first combo attack is stun immune. 8 seconds cooldown after attacker's well-timed block. Then we have Make a Stance. The defender has a 75% damage reduction, which goes on cooldown when they're knocked down, so just knock them down. And then Never Back Down, dashing back grants the attacker a 1.2 second regeneration timer. Dashing back again grants the defender 10% of max health with a regen over 5 seconds, max 1 stack. So yeah, this meta sounds really chill and fun to me. This seems like not too punishing of a meta. There's some regen, there's a little bit of knockdown to worry about, a little bit of stun immunity on jet dash, but dude, Spot is going to be absolutely cooking this meta. If Spot can cook, man, I already like it. So, I like this meta. This meta sounds pretty chill. Sounds like a pretty good time. Looking forward to that one probably the most. I like general metas that, aren't too specific. That's what I like. So yeah, this seems right up my alley. I'm digging this one. All right, let's see what we got for 2 seasons ahead of now. Season 31. So this is going to be in like August. Yeah. Okay. So, season 31. Here we have another one of the Fantastic Four's own new nodes. So this one's Invisible Woman's Finesse. So Saga attackers dodging grants a 0.5 second untouchable. Opponent miss triggers 15-second cruelty passives plus 500 critical damage rating. Max stacks 5. Paused until the attacker is hit or blocks. At 5 cruelties, gain 2,000 critical rating. And then we have Steady as she goes. Each time the attacker blocks, defender gains 25% inexorable passive for 4 seconds. Serpent has this ability. It's essentially when they have the inexorable, you'll hit them and you'll land your hits, but they won't be getting pushed back. It's like they're already against the wall, so you're just attacking them and they're not moving back. That's all inexorable does. It's not that big of a deal. It can be a little annoying, like if you're already backs against the wall and then boom, they're inexorable, and like you can't get out of that. That could be a bit annoying, but for the most part, it's not really that big of a deal. And then we have Power Snack, which is definitely a bit of a big deal. So every 7 seconds, the attacker's next buff is nullified, and the defender gains 25% of a bar of power. Alright, and then once you get to the circuit, it's all that, but also placebo. So a 40% chance to gain a placebo buff when the attacker strikes the defender. Placebos have no effect. Okay, so that doesn't sound too crazy. Sounds a little annoying, but again, it's week 1 and 2, so that's fine. All right, what do we have? The final meta here for weeks 3 and 4. So this is a really interesting meta here, man. We have Foresight. So intercepting grants the attacker 200% attack for 5 seconds. So that's really going to be rewarding, a bit more risky play, and anyone who's going to be landing those intercepts, you're going to get a lot more attack. It's going to allow you to go a lot faster. Then there's also Fight or Flight. So every 12 seconds, the defender gains an unstoppable for 4 seconds. If the attacker's far away, the attacker gets the unstoppable instead. So something you can absolutely do is, get your distance, get that unstoppable on you, block, let the defender dash at you, and then the moment they hit your block, you're unstoppable, you immediately counterpunch, and that will actually count as an intercept. So it's totally a way to just kind of cheat your way to getting those free foresight intercepts using the nodes to your advantage. And then there's also an astral sense node. I believe this is, Mordo's basically ability. If the defender is struck by a basic attack while stunned, they purify and evade it. So yeah, that's basically what Mordo does. Is astral evade. At least I don't think it's going to apply like a degen on you like Mordo does. So that's good at least. But yeah, this meta is going to be all about intercepting and, not being parry reliant. But in theory, passive stuns should work. I think it doesn't say anything about debuffs or passives here. It just says well stunned. But I mean, you can't. Purify is typically debuffs, so I would imagine that passive stuns will work out here. I think we'll have to see. But yeah, so I would say personally the meta. I mean, this meta sounds pretty interesting, pretty unique. But I would say the meta I'm looking forward to most is honestly probably just this one. If I am gonna push, this meta sounds like the best one for me. But another thing to keep in mind is that why are they giving us all these metas early? Could there be an underlying reason? And what I mean is the Battleground Brawl Part 2. They've teased it. It would make sense that it be for the qualifying seasons being one of these. It could even be both. Like, it could be a top amount in Season 30, and then the top amount in Season 31 can get you a qualification for the Brawl or something. Back in 2023, it was only top 8 summoners that could qualify. But I remember being at the Brawl and talking to, at the time, Kabam Mike, who doesn't work there anymore. He was saying he wanted the next Brawl to be 30 some people, top 30 or something. So, that'd be really cool. That'd be really sick. Like a top 32 tournament or something like that. But yeah, I just wanted to go over these metas. Think about, take all this information and use it to your advantage, when you're doing rank ups. Even if you don't care about Battlegrounds too much, it's never a bad idea to have more information, to be armed with more information when making any type of decision, rank up or otherwise. So yeah, just trying to keep you guys informed. Let me know which meta looks the most interesting to you that you want to play in. And yeah, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will be live streaming today. I think we're going to be attempting now knocking out the Valiant Gauntlet. So be on the lookout for a little live stream. But yeah, that's going to go wrap it up for this video. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel for some more content. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great, wonderful day. Peace.